Sorry.
Testing, great. If I press this button, does it work? No. You let me know when my slides go up. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to say some spicy things. Don't record me for the feds. Great, thanks. So, speculation is entertainment. Let me introduce myself. I'm going to press this button, and nothing happens. Try again. Oh. No? The green button? Oh, yeah, okay. And I got a back button. Fantastic. Okay. First, I'll tell you who I am and why I'm on this stage and why you should listen to me. So, I am a mentor at Alliance. We're a Web3 accelerator, and I have been doing that for 3.5 years, helping startups find product market fit. Before that, I was a forensic crypto auditor for 3.5 years. I audited people's financials if they had Bitcoin and needed to report to a federal agent of some kind. And before that, I did a PhD in game design. And I like to think a lot about games and a lot about consumer crypto. And so I'm here today to tell you about what I've learned over the last 7 years in crypto, thinking about how to make crypto and games work. I'm pressing the button, and here we go. Great. So I got into crypto and games around the idea of a fully on-chain game. I was super excited. I was playing Dark Forest, and we got the chance to invest in one of the best fully on-chain games out there, Primodium. And I asked them, what are the lessons you've learned from building fully on-chain games? In fact, I asked every fully on-chain game company out there what lessons they learned and what they would have done differently. And they generally came to the same, I'd say, 8 problems, and these were the 3 biggest that kept coming back, which is 1, people were designing games for gamers, and whenever they did that, they didn't find product market fit, and they died, or they pivoted. And they also tried to build things that were too big and too complicated. And they spent too much time designing one game instead of a lot of time designing many different games, hoping to find something that would work. And in thinking about why this was the case and what crypto and games were all about, I decided to go back in time. And before I give you this whole story and you get super bored and leave, I want to just tell you what the upshot will be. Crypto entertainment is horse racing. And I was really lucky. As a kid, I'm 12 years old, my father would take me to the racetrack. He was a degenerate gambler, and he loved to gamble, and he taught me how to handicap a horse. You look at this giant race form full of data about every horse in the track, and you come up with an edge. You come up with a reason why you know which horse is going to win, and then you see the odds, and you say, okay, this horse is too expensive to bet on. Which horse is going to come second? Okay, it's that horse. Fantastic. That horse's odds are totally whack. I am better than the bookie. I, 12-year-old William, have figured out that this horse runs well when it rains and it's a rainy day. I then tell my dad, bet $20, please, in my name. Now, the joy of horse racing is one that not many people get to experience, but it is basically the joy of crypto investing, speculating. Now, I will take you back to 2015, what I will call raw dogging Ethereum, which is I want to buy Ethereum. Ethereum has just come out. I'm excited about it. I've read Bitcoin's white paper. I've read Monero's white paper. I've read Litecoin. And this is something new and exciting. I've diligenced the tech. I've diligenced the team. The team, super interesting. This is a good horse. The community's got vibes already. Fantastic. But there's a lot of friction. I got to figure out how to buy an ETH. That's tough. I don't know who's selling one. I don't know where to buy one. So then I've got to mine it. I got to somehow figure out how to run my computer in such a way with very little information and make it myself. And then even once I have it, I've got all these slow transactions and high fees that I'm going to need to do to use it eventually. But those problems don't show up right now, so don't worry about them. Okay, then it's 1 year later. It's summer 2016. And Coinbase has solved some problems for me, which is that I no longer need to learn how to buy a coin. All coins now have the same behavior. I can just speculate much more easily. And I no longer have to worry about slow transactions and high fees. But there's this downside to Coinbase, which is they don't list things instantaneously. And that's a huge problem because I want an edge. Back to thinking about the horse racing, where now this new track is Coinbase and all these cryptocurrencies are horses. I want to feel like I know what the right horse is, and that means betting early in this context. And so we get this big improvement with the ICO boom of 2017, a year later. Because now I can buy a coin as soon as it exists. And not just that, I no longer have to figure out how to buy each coin like I did in 2015. They're all ERC20s. Fantastic. I go back to having slow transactions and high fees. That's not so great. And I still have to diligence the tech and the team and the community, but that's the game. Okay. But then 2018 happens and it's horrible. There's no new fun way to speculate on things. And then 2019, still pain. It's worse than horrible, but you've maybe heard of Uniswap, and you're like, maybe DeFi is going to come out, and maybe we're going to have exciting times again, and we do. And so we get this new wave of possibility with DeFi Summer, where we're still diligencing tech and teams and communities, and we don't have to figure out how to buy coins anymore because there's still those ERC20s, and transactions are still slow and the fees are high, and we don't have to wait, but something new has showed up. And this is the first glimmer of what games are going to be able to do. We're going to introduce new forms of friction to give people a sense of edge. We're going to say, okay, I'm going to puzzle through this Rube Goldbergian machine of how money moves in this totally asinine way, like we're going to 3-3 on Ohm, or we're going to restake the same thing over and over again in order to maximize our returns. And we're going to get a new sense of edge, and we're going to ape in size. And it's this new sense of edge that you have to be wary of as a game designer and thinking, okay, players are only going to come in if they think they're smarter than the system. And how is the system going to create itself in such a way where people will approach it with that mentality? How do we get back to horse racing? And in this case, Ethereum is the track, like it was with the ICOs, and all of these token machines are these horses. Okay. Then something amazing happens. We delete something we didn't even know was a problem, which was diligencing the tech. It turns out that diligencing tech is really painful and boring for the vast majority of people. If we get rid of the tech and we just make it a picture, it is more fun to bet on the horses. It is easier to get a new sense of edge. You still get to diligence the team and the community, and that's okay. And you don't need how to figure out how to buy these things, so they're all bought the same way, but we still have our slow transactions, our high fees. We don't have to wait to ape, and new sense of edge. Okay, great. NFT Summer, fabulous. 2022, Terra collapses. There's nothing to speculate on. There's no new fun way to make money. It's a horrible year. But that's okay. 2023 rolls around. It's a whole new summer. SocialFi. We no longer have to diligence teams. It's a fantastic innovation. We no longer need to do all this work we were doing speculating back in 2015. We can just diligence one doxed person. And we know everything about them because they've made it all public. It was hard to diligence teams in 2015, 16, 17. They were anon. They didn't talk about themselves. They weren't on LinkedIn. This is so much easier. And so you get a new sense of edge. Because you're all degenerates on crypto Twitter anyway. You're like, oh, I know who a real influencer is. I know where to put my money. I get it. This is a good game. I can play it. All right. Then massive improvement. And full disclosure, this is one of our portfolio companies, so I'm totally biased in favor of them. But meme coins solve another huge problem, which is we don't even have to diligence that one person. We don't even have to diligence the community. We don't have to figure out how to buy it. We've gotten rid of the slow transactions because they've moved everything onto Base. Oh, by the way, this one also solved the transaction fees by moving them onto Base. That was great. This one here moved it onto Solana, solved the slow transactions and high fees, and gives everybody a new sense of edge. If you haven't used pump.fun, I don't think you can claim to have any understanding of how crypto works today. So if you are not regularly losing money on this website, I think you're missing out quite a lot. Okay, so this is a big deal. Pump.fun became our first sort of successful incubated game. And it started as an NFT trading platform, and we pivoted them 2-3 times to different ideas. And that was really important. This is not an expensive website to make. This is not the next Red Dead Redemption 3. It's not Grand Theft Auto 6. It's not $1 billion or even $100 million endeavor. This is 3 guys in a basement making this over the weekend kind of product. It has now grossed over $170 million. So it turns out you want to be able to iterate a lot, and this is an excellent example of that happening. You also want to be able to find a way to give people a sense of edge. And they did another great job there. And so the racetrack becomes pump.fun. The horses become meme coins. Okay, but there's still some problems. It is very hard to use this website. You need to have soul. You need to have a stomach for something as ugly as what this is. And that ugliness was very calculated. Like, our head of product was like, guys, you have to improve your website. It looks so unsafe. No one's going to want to spend money here. But Roberto, bless his soul, didn't understand the green point at the bottom. You need to give users a sense of edge. And the fact that it was so fucking scary to use this website made you feel like you were early. It made you feel like you had an advantage over everyone else coming in. And if they had gotten rid of that, it would have been a problem. They had a sort of path dependency through ugliness. But in our latest cohort, a new company has emerged and has done incredible things. So incredible I can't report them here yet. But if you go on your phone, on the App Store, you can basically interact with your credit card and not your Soul Wallet with pump.fun. And instead of having thousands of horrible, often racist or cruel meme jokes, you just have 100 of the best trending meme coins. And so your grandma now can basically bet on horses from the comfort of her home in any normal way you would imagine using an app. And so we've gotten rid of the diligencing of the tech. We got rid of diligencing the team. We got rid of diligencing communities. We figuring out how to buy coins, no longer. That's the big innovation. Just use your credit card. Just use an app store. Normal human behaviors. Transaction fees are super fast. We're using Solana. There are no high fees. We're using Solana. You don't have to wait to ape. You can buy them basically as soon as this website says it's a good coin, and you have a new sense of edge because they're doing the edge for you. They're saying, we've filtered only the good coins. Just come and buy. We promise they're all good ones. So, that's where I think gaming is going. We've gone basically through 10 years of crypto speculation where it just gets easier and easier and easier, and people find new and more interesting ways to think they're smarter than the market. That's a scary and powerful, I think, framework for consumer crypto. And to think that every single coin, from EigenLayer's coin to Uniswap's coin, they're all just sort of horses in a racetrack that consumers are playing with. Once you sort of take this perspective as a game designer, you can start playing with it and start improving on it. Okay, so where do we go from here? Do we think better UI? Do we think more fun? Do we think positive externalities? Positive externalities for me is something like, does our app have a predictive capacity that leads us to know who the next president will be or something? Or more fun is do we introduce new friction? Now that we've made it so easy, do we somehow recreate new kinds of hurdles and new kinds of behaviors that players need to do to basically have enjoyment? Because for those who don't know, a game is just an objective with a bunch of obstacles in the way where players enjoy overcoming those obstacles. And so to do product design is to remove obstacles, but to do game design is to add them. And so if we're going to design games on top of now this baseline perfect app, which is Moonshot, it will be to make it a little harder to use, not easier. And maybe that would make it more fun and more spreadable. Okay, and so I want to thank you for listening to my crazy talk. I hope you become degenerates and get to understand how the vast majority of crypto users are using this product. If you are building anything in crypto, I would really love to talk to you. And if you are a founder, I'm going to show my own personal event here on Wednesday night, which is Confessions of a Unicorn Founder, which is just founders only, and then unicorn founders explaining their worst mistakes in crypto. Thank you very much.